Inspired 2 by 2, a tiny code goes calling you. Packed in tight, a hidden thread, and every cell in every head. Across the years, inside streams, to broken nights and newborn dreams. We are an arc for a southern spark, learning to survive the dark. It bends, breaks, and starts again, through skin and bone, a hurricane, a borrowed world, a borrowed friend.
Hello and welcome. Henning Pauli here at HP42. That's what you're watching. I was tasked with checking out Genome 2 by 2 Notes, which is a pretty cool, I would say almost unique amp simulation that can also do NAM captures, but then also their own thing, which is like loads of points, and you can actually then with the capture still dial in your amp. We're not going to really look at that. I'm just going to show you quickly what that is all about. Generally, I wanted to guide you through the track I did and show you how I used this AmpSim plugin to create music. Because in the end, we can all talk specs and NAM and A2 and all this bullshit all day long. But in the end, isn't it about, can we make music with it? And yes, a lot of channels, a lot of people would do the metal and the rock and roll. But I decided, let's do a low-key thing. So I will look at the song with you and then show you the individual parts, so you can actually learn something about playing guitar and how to use those sounds and how to dial in those sounds for the specific part. So I had very specific things in mind. One of them being, I wanted a very, very simple, clean sound that was rich for a main riff. And then build from that and then pull it back to that. Have a nice lead that's very dynamic with a guitar volume. You know, all the stuff that I would do to test software like that. So here we are in the song, which I called Gene Machine. I already have a song called Gene Machine, but more is better. I had this generated by AI. These are the AI stems. I, of course, tweaked the lyrics. I wanted to use my own lyrics from my song, The Gene Machine, from the album Unweaving the Rainbow with James LaBrie, and then just do a completely new song around it. But Suno wouldn't let me because it knows those lyrics already exist. So I couldn't use my own lyrics, so fuck Suno. I had this generated and replaced everything. Took the general idea of the chord progression, but then really made it my own. As you will see, we've got some pedals going on here. We've got some different chords happening here. And in addition to the main vocal, which isn't the one that Suno spit out, that is actually the one that I did in Resing from IK Multimedia. So I fed the AI vocal into Resing and combined vocalists in there to generate the vocalist that I wanted.
Inspired 2 by 2, a tiny code goes
which is a lot cleaner than what we would have had from the stem. And then I actually had, because I really love how that turns out, some gospel vocals created. I just freaking love that. I'm having fun with adding gospel to stuff because as a producer, you never really have the chance to work with a gospel choir because it's a huge undertaking. So why not do that? So before we go into the chords, let me quickly show you what I did here for the drums because, you know, this is production, so why not? Super, super difficult to do those super subtle drums, right? So red, the redder it is, the quieter it is, the bluer it is, the louder it is. That's how it's shown in Cubase. And the kit I built for this, let's see, should be this. It's in Superior Drummer from the State of the Art collection. We're used to these giant kits when we do the metal and the rock, you know, with all this stuff. And it's so fun to work with an understated kit. Pretty dry kick. So You can see that not everything is on the grid, and even the grid, the eighth notes are swung by I don't know how much. And in addition to that, it sounds pretty dryish right now, but I have a tambourine, where is it? That came from Native Instruments, some percussion, percussive strikes or adventures or something like that. So that really adds something, fills the gaps. And then here we got ghost notes galore. All that red stuff is snare ghost notes. All this is placed on the screen with the mouse one by one. If you want to find out how to do that, I of course have the complete guide to drum programming available at spectreacademy.net. So I love this challenge of doing something that is supposed to be done on a kit by someone who's studied it and practiced it for so long, in putting this on the screen with dots and still giving it that feel, that space, that groove. Doing metal's easy. This kind of stuff, for me, is the real challenge, right? Love the hand claps there. Okay, so that's what's happening there. I quickly, in between, to play around with different bass lines, had a bass here. No, that's the piano. That's the Claire, which I have on downbeats, really. What did I load up there? At the prime bass, so it's a precision bass, just playing eighth notes, before I actually laid down the real bass, which I also recorded with Genome. Let's look at the guitar parts. It starts with the main idea, which is this. Okay, let's look at the chords together. B flat, E flat. We are in, if you can follow me. If not, why don't you get power chord theory? Yeah, I'm pushing Genome here, but I'm also pushing my courses. Right now, that's only available in German. So power chord theory, that's a 1, that's a 4, that's a 6 minor, 5. And as you can see, that repeats and repeats and repeats. Now, how do you make that more interesting? Well, you play with different voicings on the repetition. I'll show you. Okay, what does Genome do there? What sound did I find? So here's Genome. Let me make this bigger if I can do that. I think I can. Can I? There, window size. I can make it a lot bigger. Probably a good idea. Good. Okay. I went through the Genome presets. In general, you've got your chain up here. As you can see right now, it's a Cali Roadster into a cab, into a reverb. There aren't, up till now, combined amp and cab, because it's 2 notes. You can have any cab you want. I asked them if it's possible to have a recommended cab automatically load if you link those 2 sections, because I don't really want to change my amps around and then have, the wrong cab for it. I would like there to be a starting point, which is a recommended cab. Now, of course, for this Fender Hot Rod, you go and you have that cab. They loaded it up in their preset. But if I now go and change my amp around by right-clicking here, these are all the different modules. If I click on amp, clean, and there's a nice collection, but not too many to confuse you. I like that. If I change my amp around, then the cab stays the same. I would like that to optionally change as well. You've got the deluxe. They've got all the really nice Fendery things. Here, of course, you've got a deluxe reverb. But I love the fact, most people don't have this in their amp sims, that they actually have the hot rod. It's simply just such an amazing amp. So let's go back to the sound the way I had it. You can, of course, have the comp, and I love the way that they show this here. Just the visualization is pretty cool. But I didn't have this on. I didn't have an EQ on, because why? Could even just delete that. The chorus, again, nice visualization. Don't need that. And then there is a bit of studio reverb on it. So it's a very simple sound, and I like that in Genome, most sounds are actually simple. They're not overloaded with crap. You gotta be careful, very careful, with this thing up here. That really tricked me a few times. That's called mix fit. So it's kind of a post EQ before it goes into your DAW to do things that maybe your amp wouldn't do, but that you need in a mix. But do you need that? You know, the air, the sparkle, the edge, it's all a way of saying high end, top end, high mid shit. In this case, it works. On some other amps, it made them so bitey that I thought Genome sucked, which it doesn't. I just had to learn to turn mix fit off, right? So you can turn that off and everything's fine. In this case, for this amp, it's a good preset, it works. So let me show you what I did with this. I, again, needed a very simple sound. Remember, we have our B flat, E flat, or G minor, F. So I didn't want to do that. Jumping around way too much. Wanted a little bit of movement in there. So I'm doing this B flat, but with a third in the bass, right? And I'm going into it with a little lick. And then I'm hammering it on. And this is this E flat right here. So instead of playing this E flat, I'm playing that C shape. It's that C shape, E flat. And then I'm hammering on the E flat later. And then G minor without the G. And I'm picking that with the right hand. F. Again without the F. So both of them over the 5. G minor over 5, F over 5. Again. Super simple. So I don't repeat this now. Well, up to that point I do. And now I immediately do this. So playing that nice E flat major, now playing that G minor here. Those three. Where does that come from? Again, from that C shape in minor. There's the G minor. And then to the F, again from the C shape. Again. And then we're doing a little the Hendrixy kind of stuff. So we're back to the beginning. So super simple, but we're having a little bit of a voicing variation for the second turnaround so that it just doesn't loop and get too boring. And that sound couldn't be more simple, but it works. It's round. Nice little reverb on it. Okay, that's the main part of the song. And the way I'm doing this, people always ask. I am actually, I know this goes against everything that you want to do. I'm treating it like an amp, so I'm recording it. What does that mean? It is actually, if you look at my mixer, it is right here on the stereo in. Meaning I'm not putting it on the individual channels to later change it. Treating it like an amp. Once recorded, it and its effects are recorded. There is no reamping, there is no changing anything later. I like to work like that because it forces me to learn how to use the sounds. It's like an actual amp. It's on the input. Whatever I'm doing there gets recorded, right? And I'm monitoring it. Here I made myself a monitor channel, and you can see there's a little icon for the monitor is on. And that's actually going out of an individual output. I made an extra output going out of virtual channels. And that way, it doesn't run through any plugins within Cubase. It doesn't run through my master chain and all that stuff, meaning we're not running into higher latency. It goes through Genome, and on the monitor channel, it goes straight out the audio interface out of a virtual channel. That means I have the lowest possible latency for my digital sounds. And I don't have to record to a track and then turn the monitor on, turn the monitor off, turn the monitor on, turn the monitor off. That's super annoying. So I just have it on a monitor channel and I can always hear it. Over here, so in the original, it went straight into the same chord progression. You can see there's a B flat, there's an E flat, there's a G minor F. It's the same thing over and over. And it works. It absolutely works beautifully. But I like to do some arranging stuff. So I went and put the E flat under, therefore making it Lydian. I put the 4 under the chord progression as a bass, and that gives it, because the 4 is the Lydian mode, kind of a Lydian feel. And then to the 5 building, and then it lands on the 1 again, right? So if we listen to those clean guitars, what did I do there? I don't remember. Straightforward 8th notes, building, like nothing clever, just building. And they're building up. So I'm playing the voicings, but then the second time around, I'm playing higher voicings. So it just moves up the fretboard. The sound here is not clever. That's a clean Fender hot rod with a bit of reverb. It's a decent sound. And together with the bass, we have an arrangement that makes it clever. Well, I say that, but I'm biased. I think it's clever because I made it. Okay, further, what else do we have? Not a lot of stuff here, as you can see, but we have this. So I was looking in Genome for a slow machine, meaning a thing where you hit it and it triggers a rise, like a swell. Well, Genome didn't have that. No biggie, I made it. So this is kind of like an organ sound, right? It's pretty damn cool. So let's see what I did in Genome. That is my pad. One thing in Genome that bugs me is you change your preset and it blocks half of what you selected, and then you can't see what you did. So you got to click on the background. Okay, went to the Cali prints, kind of halfway up, so not super clean, but also not driven. We have 0 on it, so no tremolo. We have 0 reverb, so nothing coming from that amp. We have a harmonic tremolo before it. It's beautifully just displayed here. Can I go? Nope, I can't. You just click through the effects here. Don't want that. Okay. Then a compressor. We want that stuff to be very clearly there. We got the Cali prints. We got a Peggy Rocket 112. I clicked around, moved the mics around. Genome makes it easy. It's the 2 notes interface. We got dynamic, we got a ribbon. How many caps are there? Actually, I can't tell you because I've got the suite, Genome Suite, which probably includes a lot more than the basic stuff. There's actually a basic version for free with a couple of sounds, right? So, I mean, look at there's a 1.6, 1.8, 1.10. There's so many different caps. And then within the 112 category, look at this. Those are only 112s. That's absolutely ridiculous. So, ridiculous. It says 500 caps. Nobody needs 500 caps. But in terms of getting the cap sound you want, it is super simple to get to the point. You know, distance, bam, axis, volume. Something was a bit too bright, so I pulled the 57 down. You can put it in the back. You can turn it around. Very quick to get the sound you're looking for. Can you load IRs? Yeah, you can go to cabinet and say IR loader. I don't want to do that. I've got all the 2-note stuff. Why in the world would I ever load an IR with all those caps? Then we got the Hera, which is a chorus. You know, Bucket Brigade chorus. And then we've got the tape delay. We all know that's an RE201. With quite a bit of feedback and echo time, and really just cranked up, because anything I wanted to do in terms of the swell was supposed to stay there. And then again, the studio reverb. So I just made myself something that's very pad-like. It gets swooshied by the harmonic tremolo. It gets swooshied by the chorus in a different way. It gets compressed, so it's audible. Gets a little bit of grit from the Princeton. And then just more wow, flutter, worn tape there. So let me show you. And I wanted that slow sound. Well, it doesn't have this. So if you go here, it would technically be under modulation. What we have here are classic mods, phasers, flanges. There's the Hera resonator. These are not necessarily your crazy, stuttery, whatever modern effects that don't really exist. It's all based on something classic. Got some pitch stuff. Nice reverbs, obviously. Stereo with wall of sound post effects. Okay, we don't need some filters. They're not filters. They're not waka 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 like auto wahs. They're not LFO controlled wahs. They are actual wahs. Meaning, bam, you turn that on and then you have an expression pedal. So they are wahs. Then I wouldn't call them filters, because none of these things is actually a run by itself filter. Do they filter? Yes, but you know what I mean. We got some EQ. I would stay away from EQs. If your amp sounds good, your amp sounds good. Don't mess with it. Quite a bit of dynamics, so it's also not in dynamics. I mean, volume pedal, okay. So if you, is it the Lele? Looks like it. If you have an expression pedal, you could do what I was trying to do, but it would have to be a MIDI expression pedal. So, nope. I went and did a very simple thing. Just use the volume pedal. This is Black Mountain roly-poly volume pedal. So what you're going to hear, I use a volume pedal for. So here's the thing. The details don't matter too much. You just want a nice voicing, right? So we're going to do B flat. And I did, this is a B flat right here. So that's what it sounds like. Could even do this. But we don't want the individual notes, we want the pad. So you're fading in the notes, and I want some cool notes, meaning instead of this B flat, I actually did B flat 9. Then we're doing E flat with a major 7 in it, which is fine because it's the 4. Then for the G minor, that's already G minor. And then for the F, this is an F. But you could put your finger there and then play the F up there. So if you're doing that, you got this. Right? And then you're fading it, and then you've got this. Is that a clever part? It really looks like you're not really working hard. But it doesn't have to look like you're working hard. All it has to do is sound fucking cool. So that's the general idea there. And I think on the other side, I did maybe octaves. So if you're looking at the voicings, you can see the B flat fits into the first one. It fits into the second one, fits into the third one. On the fourth voicing, I have to go down. So all I did there was I mean, maybe I didn't, but I could have. If you combine those, you pan them left, right, you've got this really, really awesome soundscape. So let's listen to the first part of the song where we really only have the bass in those two parts, okay? And it comes in with that fade, that first chord I started a little bit earlier.
Inspired 2 by 2, a tiny code goes calling you. Packed and tied, a hidden thread, and every cell in every head. Across the years, inside streams, the broken nights and newborn dreams. We are.
So, next part comes in. Super freaking simple. So instead of, again, a 2-measure arc that just repeats and repeats and repeats, I try to have a 4-measure arc. If I have the same chord progression, repeating too many times, I try to stretch it out by playing different voicings, making it therefore a little bit more interesting. Let's look at Genome. As far as I remember, there was actually, and now we get into one of the very, very cool parts of Genome, using codecs. Now, codecs is their NAM player. This is something that I captured. Can't talk about it. Won't talk about it. It's coming. So here you can actually have different input filters. What's the gain range? You can, of course, like on many NAM players, change the gain, but we're going to stay where it was. And then you can actually send it through a tone stack because, of course, a NAM file is fixed. You can't really fiddle with the EQ. However, here they add an EQ and you can pick which one you want, right? Do you want like a Voxy one? Do you want well, not an Ampeg 1, don't know what that is. So technically you could add a tone stack to it and even change what that is. Then there's a big ass graphic EQ, gonna turn that shit off. There's an enhancer, don't need that. And there's of course that pesky mix fit again. For that sound, it worked. It adds a bit of air, but everything else is neutral. We're fine. We might even want to turn it off. We'll find out. But as you can see, this whole thing, simplicity works. And Genome allows you to be simple but still good. Is Codex, which is their NAM player. They also have Paradex, which loads their Paradex AmpNet something. They have a free capture program. And with that, you can, yes, it says in the name, capture. If you get these captures, you can actually get captures for different settings of the knobs, and then it will behave like your amp would behave. It's a lot more involved to do, and it's for the nerds, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Of course, they have Paradex captures included in here. As you can see, you can play around with those. This is not the idea of this video. I loaded my NAM capture of the Dr. Z rec and a reverb, and that's about it. So let's get to what it's doing. So remember the chords, folks. We have a very simple sound here, right? It's, if you go to the bridge, I call it killer breakup because it's just it's a Voxy type sound. Absolutely love that module, love that sound. It's very, very usable. But we're dialing the volume down a little bit on the in-between position in the back. So we're doing again our B flat over the third, right? But only the A and D string. Then we're going to the E flat with the third. So small movements. Let's turn that input gate off, which of course we have in Genome. Now we need the G minor. So let's go up. I only stay on the A and D string, right? Yeah, don't do. It's too early in the song for that. So we're doing very subtle. Think cello, right? If these were, so this, so the main guitar is your piano. Then these were strings. This is how I think about guitar arranging. And now we're doing a cello line. G minor, it's a G and a minor third. And then we need the F. So it's the same movement here. It's the same minor third. But that minor third is of course the 3 and the 5, where that's the 1 and the 3. Now we go back down. So we find our B flat. That's our B flat, right? So we're doing, so that's the 5 and the 1. E flat. So that note stays, right? And then the I think that's what I did. So we're doing 5, literally power chords. But we have a beautiful movement up and down. And that's what I did for the G minor. So the 5 and the minor third. And then the power chord. Again. And then through the bridge, which is the same chord progression, but with an E-flat pedal in the bass, I do the same thing. Because it'll sound very different. Let me play this for you. Did I pick a very different sound than what's coming? No. Same sound, just in the chorus, I'm digging in and therefore I'm pulling up the volume a little bit. I'm treating Genome as if I have a couple of amps. Not a million sounds, just what I would do if I had amps, because that's where I come from.
And every cell in every head, across the years, as skies, streams, broken nights, and broken dreams, we are looking for something fun. Learn to survive them. Inventions, braces, us again, and the ball, the hurricane, the power of the
That's what's happening there. Now we're hitting the chorus. I mean, of course, we have the lead guitar here. We're going to get into that in a bit. We're almost through. What's happening here? We have this. So I'm trying to, again, make that chord progression, that is the same chord progression, a bit more interesting. Let me see what I did there. Same sound. Here we go. Follow me, folks. I wanted a movement that the bass can do, that the guitars are doing. So I was like, how do I get from the B flat to the E flat? Ultra simple. How do I get from the G, that's the G, right? So I'm doing the 5/8, and the minor third there, so I'm doing the 5 and the minor third. How do I get from the G, in this case, the D, which is the 5, to the F? Chromatically. So that's a cool line. So I'm actually doing a B flat sus2, so that nicely stretched sound. So, and I'm playing those notes in there. It's a bit tricky. One, 3 octave. G minor with a third, and then F. Kinda cool. Ah. And then we got, because I don't have a low E flat, so we're doing. And then we're not doing G minor, we're doing C minor. I added that to the song because it was just getting too boring. And then F. So doing big. Now we've got this cool rhythm there, because the vocals were doing that. Vocals were doing a cool rhythm. So I supported that with the drums, and the drums asked the guitar to support that as well. And then I don't remember what's happening. So instead of doing the... So. Simple, but cool, right? Ah, my fault, sorry. And then, once you have that part, a lot of stuff falls into place, like what the bass is doing. Well, the bass is doing the same damn thing, right? That bass sounds fucking good. Now, what are the other guitars doing? We got two more parts. And then, sound-wise, almost everything repeats. Now this was a very thin sound that has definition, right? This isn't filling. That cuts. We now needed a big sound that fills. Doesn't do much. It doesn't do much at all. Because the other part is busy, right? So this is the thick chorus. And that's the Albion, which is some kind of Marshall. If we look at the chain again, is it a complicated chain? Fuck no. I think I changed the cab on that. I might have. Do we need that reverb? Probably not. It's probably low, a little bit lower. So what we have there is very simple. I think pretty much the chords from the beginning. Yeah, nothing that should get in the way, right? Then going up, we needed to get the guitar out of the way, so we did. Yeah, I think that's what I did. Very simple. Bit thick, bit fuzzy, but it's supposed to fill and get out of the way of the others. It has that mix fit thing on again. Why? Well, in this case, again, it worked. Let's listen to those sounds together. Now, the Albion one makes the Z-Rec one sound thicker. Right? And also gives it a couple notes that it doesn't have. Okay? What are we missing? We're missing the violins. We're missing the high stuff. Treat a delay not as an effect, but as an arranging tool. Why? Every time you're adding notes to your arrangement, you are arranging, right? So a delay isn't an effect. If I do this, here, I think I did. I think pretty much almost the same thing I did with the fade guitars. That's called main clean tone plus delay. Yep. So let me show you. I don't know if that was exactly the voicings. No, I think I probably did. Wait. Oh, that's very modulating. think I made it very simple. But you can see I'm only hitting the quarter notes. One and two and. So I'm hitting the one and the two and. And the delay is adding notes. Therefore, it is arranging. You're adding notes to your arrangement. It's not an effect. It's an arranging tool. So what I'm doing there is literally a power chord of the B flat. 1 5 1 a 5 1 5. And on the top there I've got the F. Now I'm doing my E flat, but with that F up there, meaning I'm doing actually an E flat 9. Then for the G minor, I'm doing the 1 minor 3 7. So I stay there. Play the same notes, but they mean different things. And then for the F, I lay my finger flat, and I still have the F in there, and then the 5 and the 3, and the 1 and the 3. Sorry. So the point is, this stays in there the whole time, right? So we got with that beautiful analogish delay, we add notes, we add a rhythm, which of course is synced to the sequence. Genome makes that easy. And we add widity through the modulation, because you're doing a chorus pretty much, because you're modulating around the note, the pitch. So the ah. And that's what's happening there. Same amp, nothing too complicated, just this really cool Dupe Delay Pro, which is MXR-ish, but it's got the modulation in it, and you have a couple more things you can set up. Did I do, wait. Nope, both sides doing the same. So if we have all the guitars together, we're adding the important harmonic notes. We have a 9 in there, we've got the 3s, which might get lost in all the wishy-wash down there. And we have a lot of distance between those high notes and the rhythm. And then we add the low end to it. Definitely do that 16th delay on that high note. So instead of you have to hit that. Everyone has to hit that because it's fun. So we are back to the Fade guitars. I had to replay everything. Nothing is copy pasted because, interestingly, the AI doesn't work on a steady grid. If you look at the tempo down here, it changes. So I actually had to draw a tempo track here for each measure. You can see that the tempo shifts slightly. So working with AI in this case is not easier in any way or less time intensive than what I would usually do. However, I think the results are cool. So it's worth putting in the extra time, even though, that's people think AI saves time. In this case, it doesn't.
Mother gave you half the
Remember when I said earlier that I did the B, 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 B flat, B flat, B flat, and then F? I did that in the second verse. Listen to that. On the left, you've got the chords. On the right, with the fade guitar, you got those octaves. I love that. And together with the other guitars, that's just fucking cool. This is pretty much what the organ would do. But why play organ when you play when you play guitar? It's the chorus. You want the vibe to change, right? This is all pad, pad, pad. And then the chorus hits. We're not really changing the sounds too much, but we're changing the vibe quite a bit. The movements, all that stuff. Yeah, a good amp sim and a good amp and all that stuff, sounds matter, but your arranging skills and your guitar knowledge is what makes the song. A killer sound does not make a song, I think. But what do I know, right? So we got the solo here. Instead of the G minor, I went to C minor, just to be different, and nothing clever is happening there. It's all seriously just eighth notes. So let me switch guitars. I again went for a NAM capture that I did. Can't talk about it. Oh, didn't save it. That's clever. Well, however, I know how to get there. So I go to the library, and here, we see loads of course, Genome sounds. I mean, should we? Let me just tell you, Genome can do metal, right? There's absolutely no question about that. The old amps sound as crappy as the old amps sounded. In a mix, that'll work, but by itself, it's way too aggressive. and so on. Okay, so there's loads of stuff in Genome to discover, but I looked for some leads. So I went to Albion Lead, which is their plexi, and way too top-endy and bitey. I didn't know that I had to turn that off. All of a sudden, their plexi is good. But I learned that later. So, gonna turn the chorus off, gonna turn the spring off, gonna turn the drive off, gonna turn the cab off, and gonna turn Albion off. Gonna turn everything off, load up codecs, turn that off, too much crap. So I loaded this. Gonna turn the gate off. Don't need the tone stack. Done. All it is an amp capture, including a cab, into this. So Genome as your NAMM vehicle is amazing because you can combine it with other cabs if you want to. You can add effects to it. You can add effects in front of it. You can use the mix fit to get it more mix ready. There's a lot of stuff that you can do around your NAMM captures that you have made yourself or that you're getting from Tone 3000 or wherever, whether you're buying somewhere. As a playground for NAMM, or in their case Paradex, absolutely amazing. And this is what I used. It's so dynamic, it's ridiculous. Let me show you some stuff here. What I can do on the bridge pickup with a little bit of volume rolled back. We're in G minor, so I'm totally wrong here. There's nothing on it, right? Nothing. Let's put the mix stuff back on. So mix fit now adds edge and air. Okay. Maybe that works nicely for what we got here. That's what I did. I literally just improvised through the song. And those cleans, when you roll back the volume, they just sing like crazy. And now the one camera stopped, so you don't see my face anymore. Right? And then you just go. So the sounds we have there is actually just. Where are we? So I'm literally just playing arpeggios for the chords. I'm playing B flat major. And that's E flat major 7. I think that's what I'm doing. So that's what's happening there. I'm just playing very, very simple arpeggios with a sound that's ultra dynamic. I mean, in the beginning here, listen to this. That's that sound. Only into the Astro with that mix fit on. Honestly, that's a delight to play. You do everything with your fingers. You do everything with the guitar volume. You do everything with your playing and the notes. The sound supports instead of being the star. That's all the same sound. And then all I do is change pickups, roll the volume up. And of course, we got the guitar with all the delays. Same deal. We got the delays, all the same sounds. And so on and so on. So this is it. This is the whole song. Everything, and this is really the trick, everything in here is simple. Everything in here is, let me save that. Gene Machine lead onto HP42 to 7, always goes to the next empty one. Bam. Of course we have, I didn't show you that, the Peggy bass. That's a typical Ampeg where there's a compressor on it, makes sense. And I fiddle around with the cab a bit. And I went with Bommel's Peggy A10. Hey Bommel, I know he watches the channel. Unless he stopped. So try to find the right cab. Not too much drive on here. Just it, I mean, I love the bass tone on this. That's really it. Simple parts that fit together like an orchestra. You know, think of the different instruments in an orchestra. Think what needs to be filled. What are the different functions here, and then put it together. You can do it all in Genome, either with the Genome built-in amps or with, since it can load NAM, the world's your oyster. And then that's the nice thing, you can, because that's frequency response, you can find the cab that absolutely works. I would like those to be tied together if you choose, but you don't have to, right? You can, of course, also transpose, blah, blah, blah. There's a tuner. Do we need to talk about all that? There's a, somewhere you are, I don't know, you're calibrating the input, which is important to actually behave like a guitar, all that stuff. If you want to hear Genome in the way that it is used for the metal and other styles, I'm sure there are a million videos doing that. But for me, I like to test things when it comes to subtle, because subtle is difficult. You hear everything. Everything matters. The dynamics matter. In metal, you know, 127, 100 and something go. Brrr, ah! It's fun. I love doing that. But I see if a software or a product can do its job when you use it more musically. It's anti-metal. I don't want to say that. But when you're using it subtly, for me, that's the crux. It has to survive there. The drums have to survive there. The subtle bass has to survive there. I find this a lot harder than the balls to the wall of sound. And maybe because I know how to do that, this for me is the challenge. And I think Genome stood up to the challenge. In the beginning, I was a little bit disappointed by some sounds until I found out that you can turn that mix fit off. So if something is too bitey, too top-endy for you, turn the mix fit off. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's what the amp sounds like. So you can, of course, get a free version with basic stuff. You can get there's the intro version. I think it's got this. And then the normal. And then there's a Dirty Boy version, which apparently I don't have. I don't quite know what these are, but you can get different versions. Get the free version. Check it out. If you like it, buy the big version. And then you got everything. And then get some NAM captures that are to your liking that describe you as a player. I have to edit this down somehow to an hour. I don't know if that works. It's a big video. Watch it, don't watch it. If you're here, you watched it. This was sponsored. Guess by who? Guess who sponsored? Take a guess. At this point, I'm not even going to say. Guess who sponsored this video? If you can figure it out, you get a golden star. Thanks for sponsoring this video. I had a blast making that song, which I wouldn't have done without having to review this product. Thank you so much. I'll put links below. Please use them. That always helps the channel. Please subscribe to the newsletter, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Go away now, and animals at the end.
Inspired 2 by 2, a tiny code goes calling you. Packed in tight, a hidden thread, and every cell in every head. Across the years, inside streams, to broken nights and newborn dreams. We are an arc for southern spark, learning to survive the dark. It bends, breaks, and starts again, through skin and bone, a hurricane, a borrowed world, a borrowed frame, still calling out the same old name. We're just a gene machine, running through your bloodstream clean. We're just a gene machine, we keep what lives in between. Hold on, don't let go, make one more copy, let it go. We're just a gene machine, fight to live in the in-between. The mother gave you half the map, your father passed the other back. And every breath and every scar says who you were and who you are. Falls and splits and makes a mark, a paper boat out on the dock. A million tries, a million seas, a little chaos, little need. It bends, it breaks, it starts again, through skin and bone, a hurricane, a borrowed world, a borrowed frame, still calling out the same old name. We're just a gene machine, running through the bloodstream clean. We're just a gene machine, we keep what lives in between. Hold on, don't let go, make one more copy, let it go. We're just a gene machine, fight to live in the in-between. Some will fade, some will stay, some get lost along the way. But even then the line remains, a quiet fire in our veins. lines from the first part to the last, future written in the past. We are not just flesh and steam, we are the poets, the gene machine. We're just a gene machine, running through the bloodstream clean. We're just a gene machine, we keep what lives in between. Hold on, don't let go. Make a one more copy, let it go. We're just a gene machine, fight to live in the in-between. Genius spiral, in the spiral. Genius spiral, in the spiral, 2 by 2. A tiny code goes calling you. Gene Sheen, still alive in what we see.